Leonardo now has an ultra quality setting. We're going to check it out, but first, I've been getting a lot of comments lately about my hair. So, is this better? To check out this ultra mode, we're in Leonardo. We need to hit this image creation button, head over to our image creation page. I just created this set of 4 images that you see in this row using the fast generation mode. I just had Leonardo generate a random prompt, and this one is a futuristic city with swirling cosmic clouds, chrome skyscrapers, and technological enchantment. Here's what the images look like. Let's zoom in on these. There's the first one, number 2, number 3, and number 4. I'm using Leonardo Phoenix. I have prompt enhance set to auto, the style to dynamic, contrast to medium. For these, I use the fast generation mode, and I kept the image dimensions at 1:1 square, and I went ahead and picked large, which is 1120 by 1120 when you're in fast mode. Now, to really focus on the difference between these modes, fast quality and the new ultra mode, I want to make sure everything that I can is as similar as possible. So I'm going to come over here and click these little 3 dots and view generation info. And I'm going to come down here and copy the seed so that it'll be starting from the same seed image. Then I'll come back over to advanced settings. I'll turn on used fixed seed and I'll paste that seed in there. I'm going to switch the generation mode to quality. And if I leave everything else the same, large will now be 1680 by 1680. Let's go ahead and generate. According to the timers there, it looks like it took about 45 seconds to generate these 4 images. The bottom row here is fast, and this row right here is quality. We can open those up and take a closer look. The fast images were not bad, but there's a certain improvement in the quality level by moving up to this quality setting. And these are some interesting buildings, and I don't think we got this kind of shape and detail using the fast generation mode. And the swirly clouds are absolutely swirly. The flowers just seem a bit brighter than in the fast version. For these 2 images, the chrome buildings in this one did not have spears. For this particular variation, when we have the generation mode set to quality, these buildings got spears. You can see those on top. They all got a little bit more detail and definition, but this bottom one did not have spears, and I think it could definitely benefit from having those. In this far left generation, the building straight ahead was pretty smooth, and then when we use the quality generation mode, we can sort of see it looks like some lights are on in there. We're seeing through some windows, so it still definitely has that chrome vibe, but we got a lot more detail going on. All right, let's leave everything the same seed, all of it, and try it on Ultra. And Ultra with the large size is going to bring it out at 2240 by 2240. So the bottom row is fast, middle row is quality, top row is ultra. And I think you can tell even at this small preview size, there's definitely a lot more going on in the top row than in the middle row and definitely than the bottom row. All right, so in this first generation, this is interesting. In this first generation, it took that front and center building back to the more smooth chrome, not seeing the windows and whatnot in it. I feel like the leaves and flowers got a little bit more intricate. We'll pop down here to our quality version. Yeah, I think the flowers and leaves in the ultra version were just more intricate and detailed. In the second generation, it looks like, oh, our spears went away. They weren't there in the fast generation mode. They showed up in quality, and now they're gone again in ultra. I definitely like these buildings better with the spears on top. I'm not crazy about the way these buildings look. The reflections in this walkway are deep. The flowers are nice and bright. In this variation, I really like what the clouds are doing up top. I love that little swirly inside, sort of the open part in the clouds. I like the way we've stacked up some things around this building back in the back. And whatever these things are that are hanging out on this building up here, along with this difference, that makes me think it's like some gigantic water fountain. I don't know what the crystals are everywhere, but I guess if you're in a futuristic tech sci-fi paradise, maybe that kind of thing is there. And then the fourth generation, it might be the best combination of all. We definitely have spears on top of the building. I appreciate that. Still have the intricate flowers and some leaves. Nice reflection on this walkway with the chrome bumpers all around it. I had no idea the future was going to involve this much chrome. Now let's take a look at a lady at a flea market haggling over an accordion. This is in the fast generation mode. I say it looks pretty good. Fingernails are a little wonky, but not terrible. It's not like she has 12 fingers on each hand or anything. It does appear she's checking out this accordion. The depth of field does a good job in that we don't have to worry about the faces of the folks in the background. This lady that's off to the left, for as close as she is or far away as she is, her face looks fine. Let's compare apples to apples this time. So we'll go straight up this column and we'll look at the medium image generation quality. This one's coming in a little bit crisper. We start to see more detail in the hands here. It looks like we have the right number of fingers. The accordion's looking pretty good. Much more detail in her face, and we still have a nicely blurred background. In the ultra generation mode, even more detail in the face and in the hands. I think we're seeing more detail in the accordion. Now, I wouldn't know an accordion if you smacked me in the head with one, but I don't think these keys keys are correct. And I think that's been the case with all of them. Let's check out the second variation that it gave us. We've got this red one. I'm not sure what she's holding on to here. She's supposed to be haggling over this accordion. It's cool that we have some other flea market junk here that's in focus. And our main focus, this lady right here, has enough detail in her face, arms, and hands. No complaints, really. Looking at the quality version of that variation, again, I'm not sure what she's doing in her hand here, or if that even is her hand, because I count 1, 2, and then this would be a third one that's sort of reaching out from the accordion. The people bustling around and their proximity to her and how they're in focus or blurred out looks pretty good, but this extra hand sort of showing up from nowhere is kind of bothersome. And then in ultra mode, we're back to she has this brown, bronze, copper thing in her hand. Lots of detail in the face. That's looking really good. Between the skin and the spots and the wrinkles and whatnot, it's coming out really nicely detailed, as is everything else that's in the foreground. Now for variation number 3, this is fast generation mode. Plenty of detail on this accordion. Again, I don't think those keys are right at all. Not sure what these other doodads are that are piled up around her, boxes and whatnot. But I appreciate the subtle details. Her dress looks fine, her arms, hands, face, they all look fine to me. And I don't see any extra limbs or hands in this image. Moving up a step to the quality generation, the accordion has some detail. I don't think it's accurate, but I don't know. The hands look okay, especially if we consider that with aging, fingers might not be pointed exactly where they were in youth. Her outfit here is sufficiently detailed, as is her face. The background looks great. If I really needed an accordion in this image, I would probably want to double check that and see if that actually is anywhere close to an accordion. And here we are with the Ultra. Again, additional details. Look at this vein right here in her hand. This is really lifelike. Her face super detailed as well, even in her hair with an extra kind of up there out of place. That's reality. Plenty of detail in the accordion. This one has keys. That looks more like what I thought an accordion was supposed to be. I'm not familiar with this particular brand, and I wasn't sure at first whether this thing on the bottom here is like an old window air conditioner or an accordion. Who knows? It's interesting. Now let's take a look at the final variation. This accordion is very special because it comes with an extra hand over on this other side. So she's got both hands free to work this side, and this other hand I guess will take care of the other side. And of course, with inpainting, you could get rid of that in a jiffy with no problem. Otherwise, make that quick little fix there. It's a good image. I really like the bright lighting. The shadows seem to fall in the right places. Her face, her outfit, her hands, all nicely detailed in the foreground and the blur to the background. Now here we are with quality. We not only get the extra hand over here, but now it's sort of a weird extra hand. Definitely see an increase in the detail in her hands, her arms, her face. That's where I'd be most interested in having the detail anyway, and it's definitely an improvement from fast to quality. I'm not sure this hand, it sort of looks like her thumb. Maybe it's just behind the accordion, so that's probably okay. You would certainly want to inpaint away or do some cropping or something to get rid of this extra hand. And then here we are with Ultra. I like the expression on her face with this one. Great lines here, the detail on her neck, her arms. We've got the veins in her hand again. That's great. Seems like we get a little bit more foreground and lots of focus and detail. You got the extra hand still, but that's easy enough to get rid of. And it seems like some extra detail in how this accordion is worn and vintage and showing its age. We did all these with a square aspect ratio, and that gave us 2240 square if we did large and ultra mode. In quality mode, large is 1680 by 1680, and in fast mode, large is 1120 by 1120. If you wanted to do 16 by 9, in fast mode, you'd be at 1472 by 832. In quality mode, you'd be at 2208 by 1248. And using ultra mode with 16 by 9, the dimensions would be 2944 by 1664. Ultra generation mode definitely increased the quality and the detail. The fast mode and quality mode are both good. Ultra just kicked it up that extra notch and brought in some really nice detail. And it seems like it didn't just make up the detail, but it put appropriate detail where it belonged. Definitely worth checking out. And if you're concerned about using a lot of credits when you do large and ultra, there's a couple of ways you can save on those. One would be to go ahead and start off with a smaller image and maybe in fast quality. And then when you hit on a variation that you like, just grab the seed from the generation info, drop it in under the advanced settings, and you'll be on the right path to getting your image, only with more detail and a higher resolution. Now, I hope you found my new hair more enjoyable enjoyable to look at. I had no idea anybody was even noticing my hair. I mean, I figure I got a face that looks like it was set on fire and then put out with a cleat. And on top of that, I got a voice that sounds like Kermit the Frog being strangled and suffocated while talking through a fan. I didn't think anybody'd even notice I had hair. But either way, thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come back and join me for the next one.